So Damon's all, ha ha, I got you, bitch. Now you're dead. Threat over, neutralized. And Melinda, the Meredith, sorry, looks at him and goes, are you nuts? Blowing up the storage closet was not part of the plan. How is this a bad thing? The hunter's dead, everybody's safe, right? Gotta love Damon's way of thinking. So while this is going on, Stefan and Elaine are taking their little joyride, and it seems like for a couple minutes, Elaine is able to really let her hair down and authentically smile for once. While he's riding the motorcycle down the road, she climbs on top of the seat, like literally stands up on the seat and does this whole "I'm queen of the world" bit. And she seems like she's not, maybe if not at peace, maybe a little bit more free than she was before. They seem happy, and they stop at I want to say a motel or somewhere that has a bed, and they start to make out and kiss. And I'm not going to go into the aesthetics of the scene because whatever. It still falls flat either way. I don't care how many times they kiss or strip clothes or what have you, or how much emotion she puts into it because she's a vampire now, it still falls flat for me. Because if you look at the whole scene, like the beginning part of it, she's into it, or at least she's trying to be, because her emotions are all over the place. And Stefan's trying to be, and he's kind of letting her just roll with it. He's kind of letting her just take control, but he's not quite all there. You can tell. His heart's not really in it because I don't think he's allowing it to be. And he proves that in a big way later on. So while they're making out and kissing and stuff, she goes to take off her shirt, and in a repetition of a scene from season 1, I think this was episode 3, she takes the shirt off, and as it comes over his head, guess what? It is not Stefan, it is Damon. Score for Delana fan group. Score. And of course she freaks out because, oh my god, what in the world? And Stefan's like, are you okay? What the hell? What? Trust me, Stefan, you don't want to know. And it's at that point that Elena starts feeling the effects of the werewolf venom, and Stefan knows she's got to get her back to town, to Klaus, before she gets very sick, because since it's gone straight into her bloodstream, it's working faster than if she was just bitten. And because since she's so young as a vampire, it wouldn't take much for the werewolf venom to kill her. So he rushes her back to Mystic Falls, and I'm pretty sure that they go back to his room. Before I get further into it, I gotta mention there was a scene, I forget the context, but she goes over to the mansion to talk to Damon, and she goes into his room, and they're talking in his room, and I cannot believe how aesthetically different Damon's room is from Stefan's. Stefan is like, I'll say it straight, Stefan's a slob. He's got books and papers and stuff just everywhere, just crammed everywhere. Damon's like me. You should see his room. There's the bed, there's the dresser, and everything in a place for everything, and everything has its place, and nothing is out of place, and it's very sparse, utilitarian, strong lines, angles, dark colors, very me. Me and Damon think alike. He starts to take it. He takes his shirt off because I guess he's going to change clothes or go in the shower. And he's like, "You wanting to stay for the show?" And she's all, "Ah." But you can tell on the inside she's like, "Ah." Like the rest of us are like, "Ah, take more off." But anyway, back to what I was saying before. Stefan proceeds to blow Klaus's phone up with like 19 voicemails begging him to come over to save Elena's life. Eventually, Klaus does get the message. He's like, I would have responded with just one voicemail. You didn't have to send me 19, just for future reference. I wonder what you would have done if there was another way that you could have cured him. Would you call me still? So Klaus sits with her and talks to her for a few minutes, and while he's sitting there, she starts to hallucinate again, and she sees Damon, and she says, why is it whenever I feel like this, whenever I feel unsure of myself, or whenever I need someone, I always think of you. And the hallucination, Damon says to her, well, it's because you know in your heart that you're more like me than Stefan. Score. So she thinks of Damon when she's in bed with Stefan. She thinks of Damon pretty much all the time. Big score. And it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that she drank his blood. Nothing to do with that at all. I know there were some fans that were asking, well, does that mean they have a blood bond? No. I have not seen any evidence of blood bonding in this show. Does that mean they're connected forever? He's her sire. They're connected regardless. Not to mention the fact that it's obvious they're madly in love with each other, but that's neither here nor there. So Klaus proceeds to cure her, and I'm assuming that he also cured Rebecca, because as much as he might hate her, I don't think he would just let her die. And then there's a short scene where Connor Jordan wakes up. So obviously he is not dead. He wakes up back in his trailer and Klaus is with him. So Klaus obviously got him out of there before the explosion. And he says to him, the only reason that you are not dead is because you are now of use to me. And he starts talking about the 5, and Connor just has a look on his face like, dude, I have no idea what you were talking about. This is news to me. Klaus flat out just looks him square in the eye and says, you really don't know your own history, do you? Now, I don't know what the deal is with the 5, but I'm willing to bet, considering that Klaus believes that Connor is one of the 5, that the 5 is like some kind of ancient order of vampire hunters or supernatural creature hunters of some sort. And it has something to do with maybe a lineage or a bloodline. Obviously very powerful, very strong, must have been around for a very long time if Klaus knows of them, maybe since the beginning. And he's obviously dealt with them before, and I know that this next episode is going to deal with a little bit of flashback backstory having to do with that. So Elena gets cured, and then she goes back to her house, and Matt is there, and she's talking to him, and she's really more or less babbling because she doesn't know what else to say anymore. Her emotions are so crazy. One just bleeds into the other, and she can't seem to get her head straight. And Matt keeps trying to, in a sly way, is trying to ask her, "Do you need to feed again?" And he takes the Band-Aid off of his wrist. Do you need some more? And she's kind of like, I'm almost afraid she's starting to turn into a junkie or something. So she starts to feed off of him, and she can't stop. She's so emotionally riled up that she can't make herself stop, and she almost kills him. But lo and behold, as usual, Damon saves the day. Damon shows up and pulls Elena off of Matt just in time, because she really could have killed him. And he proceeds to compel Matt, says to him, you came over, Elena fed for you, everything's fine, and you went home. Goodbye. And Matt leaves. And Elena's freaking out, oh my god, I almost killed him. What have I done? Oh my god, oh my god. And he gets her to calm down. And he says, listen, you're going to be okay. Everything's fine. Matt's fine. You need to calm down. The only way you're going to get through this is that you need to learn how to be a vampire. You need to learn how to do this right. And I'm going to teach you. Score! Score 3 scores in 1 episode. Wow. 3 Delana scores in 1 episode. I'm happy camper. Yes, this is what we have been waiting for all along, was for Damon to finally assert himself. Grow a pair and take responsibility for his actions. Well, not really his actions, but take responsibility for the fact that she is his. She is his child. It's his youngling, and it's his responsibility to teach her. Never was this more glaringly apparent than in another scene that was taking place at the same time. Stephanie and Caroline are talking in the manor and in the boarding house. I believe I said manor. It's child. Anyway, they're talking at the boarding house, and he's asking her, you before you were a vampire, you were, she's like, yeah, I know, it was shallow and controlling and emotional, but he says, but after you became a vampire and learned to deal with it, you kind of grew it into yourself, and you make it look so easy, and you're so good at it. How do you do it? And she's like, well, it's because of you. I mean, you're the one that showed me how to do this. You're the one that showed me how to be. And he looks her straight in the face and says, I wish that you could do this for her, because I don't think that I can. Score! Stefan finally wakes up and smells the coffee and begins to realize that he cannot be the one to teach her. Not only that, but he can't even be with her at this point, because he loves her enough that he wants her to have that freedom and to be able to enjoy her life and to experience everything that this new life has for her, this new life has to offer her. But he can't experience it with her. He can't enjoy that freedom, because he always has to maintain control over himself at all times. If he lets himself go like he wants for her, he runs the risk of becoming the Ripper again. And he can't let that happen. He will not allow himself to go down that path. So now he's starting to realize that it's not going to work. And I'm not going to say that he's going to, break up with her in the next episode, but I think he's starting to see the cracks. He's starting to realize that as hard as he's trying, it's not going to work. He can't be with her the way he wants to be with her, or he runs the risk of becoming something he doesn't want to be, and it will only wind up holding her back. As he said, he doesn't want to hold her back, and he knows that he will be. She deserves more than that. And he wants Caroline to finish teaching her, but Caroline says, no, I know that you can do this because you taught me. But Caroline, she's such a sweet girl, but sometimes she doesn't realize, the bigger picture. Fortunately, they don't even have to worry about that, because Damon has finally asserted himself, and Damon has taken over. Yes! Damon has taken control. He's going to be the one teaching her. Yay! And she will be running to him, because she runs to him anyway for everything. So that is the end of the Rager. Next week, the episode 4, which is called The 5, and this is a very score again. This is going to be a extremely Damon and Alina centric episode. It has to do with Damon, Alina, and Bonnie going to the university where Bonnie's grandmother taught occult studies, and they're going to meet up with the professor who's now teaching in her stead. Because I think Bonnie is still trying to deal with her magical loss and trying to figure out ways to help Elena to not have bloodlust. There's going to be some wild parties and maybe some hallucinations and definitely some flashbacks for Clouds having to do with the 5. But we'll see about that next week. So, peace out, everybody. See y'all Thursday.